My name is Martin, I'm 26 years old, and I'm a fashion photographer. I've taken pictures for roughly 10 years. I specialize in fashion photography, but I do enjoy portraits and all types of photography, honestly. My process for shooting a dayset in Phil was to allow them to pick their own clothes. I wanted to bring out their personality, not what I chose for them. From there, we just let the whole shoot flow by itself.
My name is Monica Rana. I'm 22 years old. I've been doing photography for about 4 years. The type of photography that I started out doing was just like a lot of like nature and landscape. But then a few years ago, I started doing portrait photography. And so I started shooting a lot of my friends, and I started shooting a lot of like graduation shots, and I started getting more and more like better at that. So I started focusing more on portraits. So I like the architecture that's outside of the Pearl Cup, the coffee shop itself, and so I try to match the outfits in accordance to that. And so I just kind of went with the whole like coffee shop hipster vibe. Definitely would have affected, because one of my favorite places to shoot is the Prairie Creek Park, which is like down the street from UTD. Yeah. And so when I was driving over here, I was like, oh, like I could have had her like wear this like beautiful like sundress, and like there's like a man-made waterfall there, and it's like very like scenic, and I could have done some pretty cool things there because I love shooting there. But then after getting to know her background and the way we chose her outfit, like it would have fit that location. So I thought it was really cool. It was a little bit of a challenge, but it was a lot of fun to work with that.
My name is Catherine. I'm 24 and I'm a photographer. I've been a photographer for probably going on 5 or 6 years now. I specialize in food photography, and honestly what I love about it is that it doesn't move and it tastes good. So for this shoot, I chose very clean, very crisp colors. I had an idea of what I imagined their personalities to be like, and I knew downtown Plano was very clean, very crisp, very urban. So I really wanted something that would play and contrast well with each other, as well as knowing what the models looked like. I wanted very specific moments that I knew I wanted to capture, down to just him ever so eloquently just like thinking about something. I knew there were moments that I really wanted to see. I think people really choose photographers based on their style, from tones to contrast to overall aesthetic, because we all have a very specific eye and things that we really hone in on, from the way people's smiles are, to the way their hair falls, to the little details on their shirts. I think we all capture that differently, because although we're all photographers, we all have different eyes and viewpoints. So I think my personality and my aesthetic wouldn't have changed. Maybe a few different things might have changed, but I think overall the aesthetic of the images would have remained the same.
My name is Nick Glover. I am 21 years old. I've been a photographer now for about 4 years, and I've been shooting the things that I'm passionate about for about 2. So I specialize mostly in portraiture. I kind of spend my time between fashion work and then wedding work. My thought process for shooting Phil and Adezzo was, it's kind of weird, like I wanted to almost shoot them like I was shooting a magazine spread, in the sense that I framed them in a way where it's like I could see the text here, I could see the cover here. With each location, I kind of wanted to have a good bit of variety, so with each subject I did a little bit of like moodier light or flatter light, and then we tried to go a little bit more like nature-y or more like sunny and urban, so just kind of like a mix of stuff to kind of tell a story in a sense. But with portraits, the way that I want to approach it is like I want them to be my focus, so like I don't want something that's going to be distracting. But at the same time, I wanted to take I wanted the outfits to kind of reflect who they are, and so I just chose the ones that I thought fit that the best. When you gave me all that information, this sounds bad, but I almost ignored it.
Did you?
Because I kind of wanted the expectation to be on whenever I met them in person. Because like I wanted how I perceived them through our conversation to be how I photographed them. Mm-hmm. It's like I didn't necessarily care about their story. I cared more about how I wanted to capture our connection, even though it was like brief in a sense.
My name is Adam Bayakal. I'm 25 years old and I am a photographer. I've been a photographer now for around 4 years. I've been doing freelance / professional work for the past 4 years. I would say the type of photography that I specialize in or focus on a majority of the time is street style / urban aesthetic. I'm a really big fan of really dark contrasted shadows, very harsh light. So that balance is that imbalance is kind of something I'm a huge fan of. So based off of the tiny bit of information that Amanda gave me, I kind of shaped that into not only the wardrobe, but kind of the locations that we chose for both Adeza and Phil. Hearing about his background and hearing about both of their backgrounds, actually, I think that little corner / room that we found with a little tiny window was kind of a perfect contrast for their stories, essentially. I think to some extent, knowing kind of their personas or personalities, I think that to some extent it kind of did inspire a couple of aspects during the shoot. Phil specifically, I would say that definitely fit within the order of picking that location with the window and the wall. I don't think that anything else really specifically stood out. I think that just based off of meeting them was kind of where I wanted to go in that whole direction, and figuring out lighting and location. But I would say that very small hint of it was of getting to know their personalities beforehand played into my decision making.